It's happening. Get excited. We're going to have a baby. Olive was born on the 18th of September at 5:36 in the morning, but let's back it all the way up to Sunday the 14th. I woke up with crazy contractions, and my best friend had had her baby 3 months prior to me. So I was constantly on the phone with her. What does this mean? So I messaged her, and of course I'm like, I'm in labor. I know what this feels like now. It's happening. Get excited. We're going to have a baby. I also called my mum that day because she lived 2.5 hours away from me and said, Mum, get your booty over here now. Today is the day. So she raced over and my contractions had gone. Yeah, I wasn't too happy about it either. I was so shocked. Monday passed, Tuesday passed. We get to Wednesday and I am at this point so over it. Nights had passed and I was waking up with contractions. I was crying. I was just so exhausted with thinking today's the day and then the contractions would stop. My mum at this point was like, I may as well go home because we could still be like another week. Thankfully she didn't, because come Wednesday I called my midwife at 10:02 to come and see me and please do something to help me. The God sent angel came over around 4 and said that she could do a stretch and sweep. She said I was already at 2 centimeters dilated. She could feel Olive's head and she was already in the perfect position to give birth. Oh my gosh. You could tell I was ecstatic because I knew that all these contractions had been doing something to my body and I was finally getting somewhere. 2 centimeters dilated. Oh yeah, I was very ecstatic. One key thing I do remember from my night of labor is that David all day had slaved in the kitchen. He was cooking this pork belly. He was so proud of it. And by the time it was actually finished, I was in the grit of my contractions and the thought of food. An hour later, after Courtney, my midwife, had left, my contractions ramped up. And they were not stopping this time. It went from 15 minutes to 10 minutes to 7 until I finally, at 9:28, got to exactly where I needed to be. Contractions every 3 minutes for an hour. I asked my mum to call Courtney and say, we're ready, we're at the point we need to be, can we go to the birth centre? And do you know what she said to me? Tell Alex she needs to labour a little bit longer at home. Let me tell you what, at that point I was like, just get me to the birth centre. But I managed to hold on till 11:55. Sitting in front of David, he was on the couch. I was going through another contraction when I was leaning on my ball. He was rubbing on my back. And then a huge contraction came and pop, my waters broke. Oh my gosh. I remember crawling forward on my hands and knees being like, my water, my water, my water. Mum ran and grabbed a towel and she was patting the area dry. I just remember thinking, first of all, that wasn't as scary as I had always anticipated. Second of all, it was so warm, it feels like you just peed yourself. And thirdly, I need to now get to the birth centre because the pain is going to elevate. So I googled if I could get in the shower. Let me tell you, yes you can. You can shower once your waters have broken. My husband and my mum grabbed all the stuff that I needed. We hopped in the car and let me just tell you, by the grace of God, he allowed us to get a house that was only 5 minutes away from my birth centre, because that ride was the longest 5 minutes of my life. It was pitch black. There was no one on the road, but I did have a contraction going around a roundabout. Yes, I did. I had a contraction going round a roundabout. I get to the birth centre and as soon as we arrive, I step out of the car, I get another contraction and my water is just gushing everywhere. David runs inside and tells the people that we were here and I got the elevator because there was no way at that point was I going up the stairs. We go on the elevator, we get straight into the room. It was the most beautiful environment I have ever been in. They had water running in my bath. They had candles lit. The lights were dim. It was quiet. You couldn't hear anyone else in the suite. It was so beautiful and they take such amazing care of you. We were the first to arrive. My midwife was a little bit behind us, and I just remember thinking, I need to either go to the toilet, I want to get in the bath. Like, I just didn't know what to do with myself. I did try to get on the toilet and it was just not happening. The feeling of everything, you're just so uncomfortable, I would say, is the real prominent feeling that you get. For example, like you're constipated. You know how you want to push, you can't push, it's sitting right there, but it's not coming out. Obviously, I wasn't in the point yet where I was pushing, but I just had that heaviness feeling of obviously Olive trying to get into the position to come out. My midwife arrived, and the first thing she said to me was, "How are you? Do you want the gas?" And I said, "Get me on that gas right now. Right now. Don't wait a minute longer. Get me on it right now." And the first thing I did when she passed me the gas machine was, "Ooh, that feels good." It was the best feeling, but I will say it does make you feel very away with the fairies. It did take that edge off, and I was going to use everything in that moment to help me. Once I got there, my midwife did check to see how dilated I was. I was already at 5 centimeters dilated, and I was so excited because on my prayer list, I said to God, I want to get to the birth center when I'm already 4 centimeters plus. And so the fact that I was at 5, I was so excited. But also at this point, I was so over it. So over it. I just wanted this baby out of me. Eventually, my bath was ready. It was a massive spa bath, so it did take a while to fill. David got in with me. We were in there for like 2 hours. In between contractions, I was falling asleep. David was having to hold me up so I didn't slip under the water. It was a whole thing. But it was the best feeling ever having water on me. I know with having my period, the best thing that helped me was getting into a hot bath. And so I knew going into this that I wanted to be nowhere else but the bath. So I'm in there for 2.5 hours. David has to get out because he has a skin condition and it was starting to flare up. So he got out. My mum and my midwife are telling me, "You probably need to get out." And I was like, "Do not tell me to get out. I am not leaving this bath." It was the best thing ever. But eventually they did say, like, "You need to get out." I was just on the bed, like, "Please check me again." And this is where it got interesting. My midwife checked me and I was at 8 centimeters dilated. Oh my gosh, I could not believe it had taken around 4 hours for me to dilate from 5 to 8. But from 8 centimeters, things ramped up so quickly. My midwife was thinking it was still going to be like another couple of hours. I think from about 8 to 10 and me pushing actively with Olive coming out was like an hour and a half. So next minute, I'm lying on the bed and I remember I have fallen asleep and I just wake up screaming. Okay, screaming is a bit exaggerated. I wake up yelling, "I'm pushing!" And my wife is like, "Calm down, you're all right, you've got this." And at this point where apparently every woman gets to at around 8 centimeters, I'm like, I need the epidural. Because at this point, you are just so exhausted. If you think about it, I have been going through contractions. They might not have been real ones in the sense of like me getting my baby out, but prodromal labor is very much real. Like, it is still actively working. As you realize, I was already 2 centimeters dilated when I got my stretch and sweep. So I have been having contractions since Sunday. It is now the morning of Thursday. I had been awake for like 24 hours. I was telling my midwife that I felt like I needed to poop. She said, "This means the baby is coming. You're at the very end. Now is the pushing part." And it was just the most incredible feeling. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I would go through it in a heartbeat. I would go through it again and again and again. It was the most incredible feeling. So I fly on all fours. I've said, I'm pushing. I need to poo. I want an epidural. I said to my midwife, "I want my bath back. Get me in the bath. That is where I want to give birth." So we had the bath running, but I still had to wait about 15 minutes. I'm rolling around on the bed trying to get this baby out. I knew that it was coming, and I started to get into that position where my body was now just actively pushing for me. So every contraction, I was pushing. Eventually, I get back into the bath. My midwife is telling me, only push while you're contracting. Do not push any longer. I remember freaking being in a squat position, spreading my lips, trying to get this baby out. I knew that by me spreading them, it would help the baby to come out. I was doing this for probably about 20 minutes when my midwife said to me, Alex, you're not going to like this. 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 But next contraction, I need you to bear down like you need to poop. Don't go on the gas. Grit your teeth and let's get this baby out. And I believe I was actively pushing for 10 minutes. And during this time, I could feel Olive's hair. If you have seen my TikToks, you know how much hair Olive has. I was feeling it swishing around in the water. And I remember saying to my midwife, I thought I shaved because quite honestly, there had been so much hair coming out of me. I was like, what in the world is that? 10 minutes later, her head's out, her body's out. And my midwife was like, quick, catch her. I pull this baby out of the water, slipping, sliding all over me. I put her on my chest. I just remember thinking, what in the heck was that? Let me just mention as well, my midwife during this whole time, she was amazing. She was so hands off, which is exactly how I wanted it. She honestly would leave the room, come back, check on me, go and do paperwork, come back. She was so hands off. She was absolutely incredible. I feel so lucky to have been with her. I thought I was going to have this big moment. I was going to have this moment where I was crying and I was so excited to meet this baby that had been in my stomach for 42 days. But I just wasn't. I was so tired because of the gas. I felt so far out of the room. I felt like my ears were wearing earplugs. And eventually I asked my midwife, please just give her to David. David cut the umbilical cord and he went and sat with her. One thing you might not realize about labor is you still then have to get your placenta out. So you've just pushed your baby out, right? You now still have to deliver your placenta. So I was sitting in the bath and for some reason I was really nervous about that and thought, well, maybe if I take a shower, the gravity of me standing up will help pull this baby out. So I went to stand up. I unplug the plug out of the drain. All of a sudden, I hear this awful noise, like, sorry, earphone listeners. I'm like, what in the world is that? I reach down and it's my umbilical cord stuck in the drain. I'm having to pull this umbilical cord out of the drain to get it out. I stand up, I'm having a wash. I say to my midwife, I feel like it's coming. She's standing there with a net to catch anything that comes out, any clots. Boom, next minute, it comes out, it's all done. Oh my gosh, amazing, crazy feeling. I cannot believe I have just birthed a baby all on my own. Okay, I had the gas, but freaking hell, I did all of that and I was so impressed. Once I had nursed Olive, she'd had all her checks and stuff done. I had to be checked. I had to get my heart rate checked. We slept for probably 3 hours. It was the best sleep of my life. I was so exhausted. The after contraction cramps were coming in, so I did get some ibuprofen for that. And then once I woke up, I was in such a better state. I was so excited to look after Olive. I could not believe that I had my beautiful little angel sitting in her little bassinet. I could reflect on it. I ended up writing all these notes that I'm looking at right now on my phone so that I didn't forget a single thing. It was the most beautiful experience. We were in the birth center for the next 2 days. Best experience of my life. I honestly wish I could just go back there and have a holiday because the food was amazing. They took such good care of you. They had midwives and nurses on call whenever you needed to ask a question, because one thing I didn't realize was when you give birth, your baby can swallow amniotic fluid. And so Olive, every time she fed, she would vomit up this greeny, like mucusy looking thing. And it freaked me out that something was wrong. She was constantly just like vomiting and all this. So I was always with the nurses saying, is this okay? Like, what's going on? It was fine. That is my birth story. I know in that moment it's scary. I know in that moment it's the first time mum. I didn't know what to expect. Every single pain that you go through, every single contraction, everything that you experience is so worth it, so beautiful. I would go through it again in a heartbeat, because your body is just designed by God to be amazing. You'll get to a point where your body is literally pushing this baby out, whether you like it or not. I cannot express enough how beautiful it was, and I am so proud to be making this podcast to help other women get through that fear, get through that mentality of, I don't know if I can do this, because you absolutely can. Yes, in the moment, you're going to experience things you may never have ever experienced before, but I'll tell you what, it is a life-changing experience. I cannot wait to help women to feel confident to also go through the same thing. But yeah, that is my wonderful, amazing water birth to the beautiful Olive. I am so grateful I got to experience that, and now I get to share it with you guys and create this platform for you guys as well. So, episodes to come, we're going to talk about how to give birth naturally, why I would choose to give birth naturally, tools to use, all of the above. I just really want to very quickly emphasize that this is not a platform to bash women, whether you got a C-section or an epidural, however you did it, as long as you and the baby are safe. At the end of the day, that is most important. This is really just a platform for women to come to hear my experience, to learn why I would go natural over an epidural. For people that might be on the fence wanting to maybe do it but don't know how, this is just a platform for you guys. A platform I wish I had to come and listen to when I was pregnant with Olive. I'm going to leave it there. I love you guys so much. I will see you for another Trust Your Body episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please join, please subscribe, be a part of this beautiful community, and let's just make it a positive, amazing platform for other women to feel confident and trust their body. All right. I love you guys. Bye.